Oh, I saw you posting, your assignment here where you're having some trouble with some of the JavaScript errors. So just want to walk through a couple solutions to these. I thought I'd do a video because it's kind of hard to explain all this in text. A couple things to make sure. One is make sure when you're naming scripts, it's easiest if you don't put spaces on, particularly this script scene manager. In the video, there's no spaces in this name, so make sure you don't put any spaces in this. I've taken them off, and in fact, I always try to avoid spaces in all of my script names because when we try to grab them from one place to the other, those are cause problems. So make sure you delete the names in your script scene manager. Your spaces. I've made a really simple scene where I have an asteroid bullet and stuff. I didn't do the whole thing. I just wanted to show you a couple points. Make sure then once you've had this up, you should be declaring a scene manager in other places. Make sure you've dragged and dropped the scene manager into those. So like for asteroid, it says scene manager script here. It doesn't have that, so I can drag and drop my scene manager onto that. So I want to make sure I do that. That works. But there are some problems with the code in the text, and so that's what really gave you issues. So let me go into that. Um, you shouldn't have to do anything with the scene manager itself other than again make sure the name doesn't have spaces. Let's go into the bullet one first. Now the way we tie into a scene manager is a little different here. In previous versions we could go variable scene manager game object here, uh, and we can access it directly, but we have to tie it directly to a scene. So here you should say variable scene manager colon not game object but script scene manager, the name of this script up here, and this is where we can't have spaces because we have to have this name in here without any spaces. So stick that in there. Then when you reference it, the error you were getting was on this line here, scene manager transform get component script scene manager add score. It was trying to call the add score method, which is here in the scene manager, but this was not getting the right uh, directions basically. So you can simplify all this, and we can just say we can delete all of this middle part now and just say scene manager.add score, and that should work out fine in your code. Shouldn't give you any errors. I'm getting some errors here because I'm in Visual Studio and it doesn't handle JavaScript well. So another way to avoid some of these things you have to watch in features, you have this programming strict thing here. This means that it does really strict type checking with stuff like this, and it won't let you get by with issues like this. So I think if you actually got rid of this, it may still work the way the script has it. But again, we often like this because it forces us to do things the correct way, and this is the better correct way. So we have, instead of scene manager, game object, scene manager, and then the script name, script scene manager. And then we can just say scene manager.add score to get to the add score component. Okay, let's look at the asteroid. There was two errors, similar errors in asteroids. The first one can be solved this way. Rather than saying, again, scene manager, game object, we say scene manager and script scene manager. And again, similar before, rather than this whole scene manager transform gets script manager subtract lives, we can now just say scene manager dot subtract lives. So it's much simpler. Okay. And again, this is where it's important to have over here with our asteroid to have dragged the scene manager up here and gotten that script there. So it has a pointer to that, right, to the correct script. So then we can just say this scene manager that subtract lives, and it knows that right script. The other error was similar. There was this other get component script player dot lives. We're trying to grab the player script and grab the lives out of that, and this doesn't work. Again, I think it's tied to this strict rule you have in place, so I think actually if you got rid of that it would work. But this also is not the best way of handling this. This is just a quick way. So what we should be doing is like these three lines, we should be declaring a variable for the player script. So some name here, I'm just calling it player script, and then this is the actual name of the script that's out there for the player. So that's where's the player here. Here's the player script, and again I've removed the space in here. Player script, script player there, and capitalize it the exact same way. So here it is, and then I can say player script dot and another get component script player, and then I have to add this as script player so that it knows what type this component should be, and should this type and this type should all be the same here. So we go grab the script player, we cast it as a script player, and we save it in a variable. It's called script player. So once that's all set up, then we can say player script.live. So whatever we use as a variable here, we use it here, and we use it here, and then we can access the lives. So basically, rather than doing it in one line, I have to do it in 3 lines in order to get all the things to match at the right type. Okay, see if you can get that to work. Thanks.